Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Since Captain America Brave New World is out, I am going to rank all of the Captain America movies. The MCU ones, the 1991, even Falcon and Winter Solder, and both of the TV movies from 1979. So, let's get into it. Coming in 8th place is Captain America 1979. This movie is a slog. It really is. There are some interesting things in it. But the thing is too, is that like, and this goes for both of these. But I do have a little bit more to say about, Captain America 2. But, the original one is, like, both of these movies were made by people who did not understand Captain America. They were like, oh, he has a shield, he dresses up in red, white, and blue, and he has a serum that makes him strong, go. Because there are bits where he rides a bike, which, to be fair, is kind of true in some versions of Captain America, like in the first Avenger he rides a motorcycle, in Winter Soldier he rides a motorcycle, stuff like that. But the thing is that, like, and we'll get this when we talk about the second movie, but something happens to the motorcycle, like, they add something extra that you're like, what the hell? But, like, I think that the actor that they got to play Captain America and Steve Rogers is not that bad. Like, he looks like a Steve Rogers. He looks like a person who would play Steve Rogers at that time. I think the story is half interesting in this one. I think that there are some cool things about, but overall it just does not work that well. Now at number 7 we have Captain America 2 Death Too Soon. Now this movie, I think that the costume is better. The costume is so much better in this movie, even though that does still look silly where he has a motorcycle helmet as the Captain America mask. But I do think that there is more action in this movie. When you watch it, you're like, yes, the action is really good. You start off with a really cool action scene after you see Steve, and then you go into a fight scene where he's stopping some robbers and stuff, and all of that. So you get that, you get some more action, you get some more mystery in this movie. But the problem is that, like, when Captain America is not on screen, this movie is not interesting. At least the first one is half interesting, but it stops getting interesting because you're like, going like, okay, when does Captain America appear on screen? The second one, he appears on screen pretty much straight away. There's more action scenes, but the problem is that, like, this is kind of, my complaints about this movie is what people complain about with the Monsterverse, where it's like, oh, you have awesome Godzilla and King Kong stuff, but the humans are not interesting whatsoever. That's basically Captain America Death Too Soon for me. At least you kind of gave a crap about the characters in the first one. This one you don't give a crap about the characters, but the action scenes are better, the costumes better. But the thing is that, like, this one goes from the motorcycle, like, and then once it goes from the motorcycle, it turns into a hang glider. It's like, what are you doing about this movie? Again, this is made by people that do not understand Captain America. But number 6, we have Falcon and the Winter Solder. Now, if you have seen the series, and if you've seen Brave New World, you understand why I'm including this on here. Now, this show had so much potential. I think the action scenes are good. I think that the back and forth between Sam and Bucky is awesome. I think that the villain is terrible in this series. I think that had a lot of surprises. This is one of the ones that should have felt like Phase 3 Winter Soldier kind of MCU, but it just fell flat on its face. And I do like some things in this series, but I think that overall it just did not work that well. And I don't know if that was because of COVID, because this series, much like Brave New World, kind of did some rewrites or reshoots to add in a subplot that kind of deals with, like, not COVID specifically, but something like COVID within the series. So I don't know if that is the reason why it fell flat on its face, is because that it was dealing with that. Because the first series that came out with WandaVision was unbelievable. It's one of my favorite MCU things ever. But then it just went straight downhill with Falcon and Winter Solder. But I do think there are good things about the series, like the back and forth between Sam and Bucky, the action. It is a little stupid that, like, Bucky does not trust John Walker, but he's going to trust the guy that showed Tony the video of him killing Tony's parents. Like, that is a bit of a stupid decision to me. Like, why would you do that? But I do think that there are some redeeming qualities about Falcon and Winter Soldier, though. Now, coming at number 5, top 5 Captain America movies, we have Captain America 1990. I think that this movie is not as bad as people think it is, but also it's not great. Like, I was expecting a lot worse, to be honest. This movie, like I said in my review, deals with stuff that I wasn't expecting to do in this movie. Like, it takes Captain America out of the World War II era, like unlike the first Avenger, and actually puts him into more like the 1990s, like world of today, and having the whole like Superman feel within this movie, like having like the mother still alive until she gets John Cannon and stuff like that. And I think that the Red Skull for the time is even though it is a funny looking design, I think that for that time it's alright. Yes, they could have done a lot better, but I think you gotta think of the time period that this was made in. And obviously there's some clear faults, like the action being chopped like to a different cut, different angle, or like every like 5 seconds within one shot, or like Steve Rogers vomiting twice, pretending to vomit twice to hijack cars. I think that there is a lot wrong with this movie, but I think that there's also a lot of things that they get right. So if you really like movies from that time period, you would really like this movie. And I think that is one of the things where you look at it and you're like, yeah, okay. I think that we need to look at as a time period, because this was, and I even said this in my review, this was a time before Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man 2002, Daredevil 2003, and all that. Not that Daredevil 2003 and like Elektra and all that are great movies, but they are somewhat better than this movie. They're more enjoyable, right? So, but yeah, so that comes in at my number 5. Number 4 for me is Captain America: The First Avenger. I actually really liked this movie, but watch it this time, it kind of fell down for me a little bit, but not much. I really like the origin of this movie. This is actually one of the best, like, Phase 1 movies other than Avengers, because I'm not as high on Phase 1's movies as much as everyone else. I really like Thor more than most people. I love this movie. And I really do love, I really do like the Avengers. I think that First Avenger is one of the ones that kind of gets overshadowed by the Avengers and by Iron Man and stuff like that. And they kind of overlook First Avenger, going like, yeah, it's one of those, like, good Phase 1 movies, but, like, Iron Man 1 and Avengers 1 are really the standouts. I really think that I'm lower on Iron Man 1 than everyone else. Even though I do like it, I'm lower than everyone else. But I do really like the First Avenger, and the fact that it deals with the World War II thing and actually getting a deeper look at Steve's origin and his relationship with Peggy and him and Bucky's relationship and all of that, and how this movie like feels like a actual good origin story, even though that does drag a little bit. it's not to the point where you're like, oh my god, this is boring. You can actually make it through the end. But I do really like the first Avenger. I think the first Avenger is one of those really, really overlooked Phase 1 movies because they're so hung up on Iron Man 1 and the Avengers 1. Number 3 for me, our new entry onto the list is Captain America Brave New World. I actually really, really like this movie. I think that there's a lot of cool action scenes in this movie. I think that the action scenes is where this movie stands out. I also think that the Harrison Ford stuff with him as President Ross is also really, really great. I think that there is a lot of things that really, really work about this movie. And, but where it does kind of fall apart a little bit is the whole thing of the super soldier serum. But also, I do kind of get Anthony Mackie's points with that. I do really like the whole conflict between Sam and Ross. I really, really like that, and I really like seeing Red Hulk on the big screen and how that plays out. And another complaint that I have is, I mean, you guys will have already seen my spoiler review and my non-spoiler review, is that it feels like a Incredible Hulk 2 without being a Incredible Hulk 2. This feels like a Hulk sequel with Captain America in it. It's like, let's title it Captain America Brave New World, but let's add in characters and themes and all this stuff that you would see in a Hulk movie, like the whole thing with the leader and also General Ross as Red Hulk. And if you see my spoiler review, just a little spoiler, not much, because don't expect her to be in it for more than like 2 seconds, or at least a minute. But Liv Tyler coming back as Betty Ross and all that stuff. So I think that there's a lot of good things about this movie, and people just kind of hate on it because they would like to hate on an MCU movie nowadays because they're like, oh my god, it's not the Infinity Saga. It's like, of course it's not. It's not going to be the same as the bloody Infinity Saga. They nailed it. Yes, they did nail it the first time, but that does not mean that you need to crap on every single MCU movie that comes out now just because it's not what you experienced the first time around. And I think that the interconnectivity is what makes the MCU so special, which unlike things like DC and stuff like that, so, which DC is going to be coming with that with Superman and stuff, so I'm very excited for that. But yeah, no, so Brave New World is really, really good. I think that it's a very, very strong Captain America movie about our new Captain America, Sam Wilson. Number 2 for me is Captain America Civil War. And again, I said this in my review, but I love the fact that they have taken our main character of the MCU that we've been following since 2008 and make him into the antagonist. And this movie divided up the fan base in a way that they were like, oh, this movie divided up the fan base in a way that's like, no, we're Team Cap. And the other people are like, no, we're Team Iron Man. Where it's like, you can see both sides, where it's like, one of them might not be on the correct side, okay, Tony Stark, but you're not like, going like, oh my god, like, this is a bad dude. It's like a Thanos thing. It's like, yes, what he's doing is bad, but you see his point. Like, that's what makes a good villain or good antagonist. Zemo is really, really good, but also, he kind of falls onto the radar of, like, good villains, but he's not the reason why you go to see that movie. You go to see that movie because of the awesome action and the whole airport scene and the conflict between Cap and Iron Man and both teams and all that, right? And like, this movie's action, like the Russo brothers are really, really nailed. Like, all 4 of their movies, whether if it's Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, they are all in my top 11 to 15 MCU movies because they're all great movies. They're all 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 movies. And I love that. I think that's so good. I think that the fact that they've had track record within the MCU with nailing every movie that they have done so far, that's why I have hope for Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars is because the writers, Marcus and McFeely, are back because they did those movies. The Russo brothers directed movies, and also the Russo brothers are back to direct both new Avengers movies. So I think that they're going to nail it. But I think that Civil War is great with the action, and it actually really shows the team. Like we see in the opening scene, they're now the people that were now Avengers in Age of Ultron at the end actually find each other. They're out on a mission, and we see the whole thing of what happened with Scarlet Witch, like with the whole building getting blown up by Crossbones, and how she deals with that, and how Tony wants to keep her safe, so lock her in the Avengers Tower with Vision, and how we get introduced to Black Panther. And Tom Holland's Spidey is amazing. I love how this movie feels like a Avengers movie, but Captain America is still at the center of it. And I love how this movie is a movie that exists, and the fact that they were able to pull this off within a Captain America movie. But coming in at number 1 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I love the spy aspects in this movie, the reveal of the whole thing of how Bucky is the Winter Soldier, and I really like how they set up the relationship of Sam Wilson and Cap, and like I really like the spy aspect. It is kind of a bit long. I mean, not like long, but it does get a little boring, but not to the point where you're like, oh my god, I can't do this. A very, very good Captain America movie, and I think that's one of the best MCU movies. I think that it's one of those things where it's like, there are definitely ones that I would prefer, that I would rewatch over this movie, but I still think that this is one of the best MCU movies ever. I think that the stealth suit is easily one of the best Captain America suits that we've gone. I think that the action is incredible. There are times where like the shaky cam is a bit of a problem, but like I do like the hand-to-hand combat, because that's what makes it cool about Steve Rogers' Captain America in particular. Even though I love Sam Wilson's Captain America, but that's what's cool about Steve Rogers' Cap, is that it's all hand-to-hand combat based. He doesn't have a jetpack with wings that can cut up a car and can fly around and stuff. Like, actually seeing the hand-to-hand combat within the MCU, when you don't really get a lot of those characters, is actually really, really cool to see within Captain America. So guys, that is my ranking of all 8 Captain America movies and shows. What is your list? Let me know, please. Guys, please hit the like button down below if you haven't already. Subscribe. Also hit the little bell icon to get notified for future videos I make. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.